What if I told you that making homemade pierogies one day taught me everything there is to know about manifestation, reality creation, hopping timelines, and this is something that I've been doing since I was a little girl, but I never saw it from this perspective before. Do I have you intrigued? Now you might be sitting there saying, well, Dee Dee, I don't know how to make homemade pierogies. Well, where I put homemade pierogies, you can put any topic, anything that you know how to do, whether it's cooking or not, and it will teach you everything you need to know about manifestation, I am awareness, shifting timelines, parallel realities, whatever you want to call it. If you want to know more, stay tuned, because not only am I going to make a real life homemade pierogies on screen, I'm going to give you a narrative as I'm doing it to exactly what my big aha moments were and how you can realize that you too are doing the same thing no matter what it is that you're doing. All right. Hey, real quick, if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, check the description box below. I have all wonderful options from phone calls, video calls, tech support, anything that you need. And in addition to that, there is also a link to sign up to be on the wait list for the new group program that's starting next month to receive the information. No obligation at any time. I love doing these videos for you. I love that you keep coming back. Thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart. Now let's get into the topic on hand. If you want to know how you're always manifesting, whether we're doing it from the character perspective or we're doing it from the creator perspective, this is the perfect analogy. This is the perfect example. And not only that, I want to show you how you're always manifesting all day long in everything you do, even before you knew what manifesting was. This is how it's done. We take what is unseen and we bring it into seen. And sometimes there's a little bit of a process to happen, and sometimes it happens instantly. But in this example, I was asked to make a large batch of homemade pierogies for my daughter's event that she had. And you could easily go buy pierogies at the store, but not these kind. I haven't found them anywhere in any store because I do make them with potatoes and I do make them with a few other things, but the ones that people ask for the most because they're rare is made with meat. And the meat, it's so good, it just seeps into the dough and it's absolutely amazing. So in this video, in this analogy, you're going to see me go through step by step of what the human being, the character, who doesn't realize she's manifesting, she just thinks she's repeating something that she's done over and over and over for so many years now. When I was a little girl, my grandmother taught me how to make these. She's from Poland, and she taught me how to make them. And I made them with her, and I made them with my mom, and I've later taught my children, and also now my partner. It's like this big family event, big family affair, where I don't make them very often, but I usually make them for special occasions like the holidays, birthdays, or when someone asks me to do so because I enjoy it. It allows me to put my energy in, and some of the things that made me realize is that the love that goes into making these pierogies, from collecting the ingredients together to mixing them together and just using my hands and shaping reality literally. But from the creator perspective, I'm literally watching the human do it while I'm inside the body. So if you go back a couple of days in the last week, there's a video that I put up, Manifest Like a Master. And I talk about how you're in your bubble and things are either in the 80% inactive invisible, in the 15% active invisible, and then the 5% manifest. So if I use that breakdown, and I'll put the bubble back up here on the screen, if I use that bubble, because I hadn't made them in months, probably the last time was either Thanksgiving or Christmas prior to this, or maybe one of the birthdays. I couldn't remember exactly how much time had passed. It's not something that's needed every day. So it's put in the warehouse in this bubble, and it's put in the inactive invisible that I could call on it at any time, just like open up an app, open up a website, doing a Google search. But when I'm not using it, it's there, but I don't even have to use the mental capacity to remember it's there. I'm not sitting there going, okay, I know how to make pierogies. I know how to make pierogies. The recipe's there. I know exactly what to do. I don't have to affirm because it's who I am. And the moment that either I decide to make them because I want to make them, or something comes up and they need to be made, now it gets the request, right? The choice. Mom, can you make these for my party? Yes, I can. Okay. So now we take it out of the inactive invisible and we put it into the active invisible because they're not here yet. But I start going, do I have all the ingredients? Do I need to get more? How many do you need? All of those questions, they're hybrid questions, and they serve a purpose. There's an immediate answer to it. And then when I gather the ingredients and put them on the table, and I start moving the apparatus, the body, the meat locker to make these meat pierogies, what I'm doing is I'm watching it unfold. But you'll hear in the video, my wish fulfilled isn't just the making of them and putting them in the container and taking them to the party. While I'm doing all of this, I'm imagining, even if I don't know what the people look like at the party, I do know some of them, but I start making up people in my head of what they look like and how much they're enjoying it. It's always a wonderful thing that while I'm making it, I'm envisioning the wish fulfilled. And even if I wasn't at this party, let's say it was one that she was just having with friends, but this was one I was invited to. But even if it wasn't one that I was invited to, I still would imagine them doing that. And then I would imagine her the next day calling me on the phone saying, oh, Mom, it was a hit. You know, people want to know, will you make these for them? Because even though it's offered to me, I do it for special friends, for special requests, because they are so rare. The ingredients, but how much flour and how much of this, and not a clue. I haven't used a recipe in so long. I just look at it, put it in a bowl, and I know. I really want you to, in addition to watching me make them, I want you to really listen to what I'm saying about conditioning reality and conditioning the bowl, because once you get that, that's what we're doing all day long. This is just one beautiful analogy. And I even got a wish fulfilled at the very end of the video, even before we took them to the party, because you'll see there's a wonderful moment where my partner tries one and he was very, very, very satisfied with how they tasted. And I promise you, I definitely had quite a few myself because they're absolutely delicious. So buckle up, enjoy the video, and please, I want to know your comments. I want you to start to realize this is manifestation. We're projecting this. Not only are we experiencing it as the character, but we're also, as the creator, piggybacking and aware that all of this is happening. Who is the one that is aware of the one who is doing? And that's very, very powerful. All right, guys, enjoy. And let me know if you can smell them and taste them through the screen. They're so good. Oh my goodness, they're good. So good. One of the best ways to teach manifestation is through analogies. And today, I'm actually on my second batch. I am making homemade pierogies with meat for my daughter. And while I was making the first batch, I started to realize what everything represents. So first, I want to bring your attention to the bowl, because this bowl represents your subconscious mind. It is open to receive, and it already has everything in it. So as I put things in the bowl, it's going to be very symbolic to the activation of it. But just know that no matter how much you put in the bowl, your subconscious mind expands. There's no limit, even though in this physical bowl there would be one. So right now it represents a subconscious mind open to receive. Now you see my hands, and I have my wonderful partner videoing this right now. My hands represent the operant power, right? I'm the operant power, and I have so many things here on the table that I can choose or not choose, and more things in the kitchen to put in this bowl. And whatever I put in the bowl cannot reject it. Your subconscious mind cannot reject what you choose. And not only can it not reject what you choose to put in there, but it also can't tell you how much. So that's why when we talk about money, it doesn't matter if I put pennies in this bowl or $100 bills. It doesn't matter the amount. So that's why we always want to go big with manifestation. So what happens though, this is an unconditioned mind. Right now, when you're at 0 point, this empty bowl represents 0 point. All potentials, all possibilities are possible, but it takes a conscious chooser to start conditioning the bowl. So the first thing that I'm putting in, and you can see it's the second half of the ground meat, because I make my pierogies, I make homemade dough, and I make my pierogies with seasoned meat. Now, I've just conditioned the subconscious mind or the bowl, meaning that now I can only make with this bowl, with this meat, any type of recipe that requires ground meat. I could make meatballs. I can make pierogies. I could make a meatloaf. I could make this for hamburgers. But I know, as the operant power, I know what the wish fulfilled looked like. I know what the done deal looked like ahead of time. And I know that I've done this so many times, I could do it on autopilot. But as I'm doing each step, and each step is inspired action, I have to be aware of what I'm doing. I have to bring myself off of autopilot to really pay attention, even though I could do it with my eyes closed. Okay, so right now, I've conditioned the bowl. And like I said, I can make any recipe that requires that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the next ingredient, which is 2 eggs. So now, if there was a recipe that had the ground meat, but didn't require eggs, I've now eliminated all those recipes. I continue to condition the bowl with my choices. So now I can only make with this bowl and these ingredients recipes that require these ingredients, because the more I condition it, I'm narrowing it down. Think of it like a Google search. If you put dogs in your Google search, it's going to throw back a whole bunch of dogs, probably the more popular ones. But if you say chow chows, now you've eliminated all the dog searches that are not chow chows. And that's kind of what you're doing each time you're putting an ingredient in here. So now I'm going to add some seasoning. And I may do it several times, but at least it's the initial seasoning that I'm adding in, because I want the meat to be flavored, and the flavored meat, when I cook the pierogies, will flavor the dough. So again, if someone were to ask me, hey, Dee Dee, can you give me this recipe? I've done this so many times. I don't know what the portions are. I don't know if it's 2 cups. I don't know if I do know it's 2 eggs. But it's seasoned to taste, and I know based on seeing it with my eyes how much to put in there and what to do with it. But I can't tell you this amount of meat, this amount of eggs. And as we go on and on, I'm now going to add some breadcrumbs to add a little binding. The eggs and the breadcrumbs are more of a binding agent for the ground meat. And finally, I'm going to add some garlic, which will cook up. So cooked. Okay. So now I could make pierogies, but if someone requested no garlic, then these wouldn't be theirs. This wouldn't be for them. So right now I can only create a recipe that requires these ingredients. This would not be the recipe for brownies. It totally has eliminated all of that. So as you see, your 0 point, you start with a blank bowl. And every thought that you have or every action that you're taking is conditioning the bowl, and it's simultaneously eliminating all the other things that don't take that ingredient. Now, each one in and of themselves, the breadcrumbs, the meat, the eggs, the garlic, the seasoning, they exist. They are each their own reality. This is the breadcrumb reality. This is the seasoning reality. This was the egg reality. So we're bringing all these realities together, or what we call thoughts or echoes, but it's in the bowl, but it looks nothing like the wish fulfilled. It would be ridiculous for me right now to go, okay, I put the ingredients in the bowl. Where's my pierogies? Did I do it enough? Did I do it enough? Well, obviously it doesn't look like the wish fulfilled, but I know inside what the wish fulfilled is. And even if after all these years of making pierogies, I forget what to do next, because you have those moments where you blank out, all I would do is stand here knowing that I know how to do this, even if it's my first time. And eventually that version of me will come through the physical body, start moving the body and making this look like the next step and the next step and the next step. And the thing that I love about making pierogies is every single step along the way, as I'm bringing the ingredients, as I'm forming the dough, as I'm rolling the dough and putting the meat in, as I boil the pierogies, as I then fry them up, every step of the way, I'm imagining people smiling. I'm imagining people enjoying each bite. Like I'm already in that version where I know they absolutely love what I'm doing. And while I'm doing it, it makes me feel so fulfilled, even though we're in the raw stages right now. And I know that because I'm doing this and I'm feeling this way so fulfilled ahead of time, everything else that I have activated, my YouTube videos, my business, going to the gym, all of that energy spills over to all of those topics. That's why you don't have to do all of the topics all the time. You just are so present and so aware in the now moment of what you're doing and feeling so satisfied and fulfilled, even though this is the beginning stages and it looks nothing like a fulfilled pierogi just yet. Okay. All right, so now we're back for the next step, which is the homemade dough. And again, we now have a empty bowl, which has nothing to do with that bowl over there, right? Here is the meat. It's all mixed together. This reality and this reality are two separate worlds. They haven't been joined together yet. Eventually they will. But right now, I am going to add the flour. And once again, I have no idea how many cups it is, but I know what it looks like in the bowl. And I'll do this several times. This is not enough for all of that meat, but I like to keep the batches small and the dough very, very fresh. So now this rules out any type of recipe that doesn't have flour in the recipe, right? So anything that has ground meat that would be separate from making pierogies can no longer be made here. But what's very similar is that this part also requires 2 eggs. Look at that, cracking it with one hand. You know, I've been doing this for a while. And it also requires water. And what I'll do is I'll start moving this around and see how the dough starts to form. And more likely than not, I will add a little bit more flour to it. And I will add a little bit of salt. This is the process of making homemade dough. So now we have the dough, it's starting to form, and I will take a piece off, move that over here. Some flour on the table. And as I'm doing it, I'm paying attention because I know what it should feel like. It still feels a little bit on the tacky side, sticky side. And this is the autopilot part. This is all the years of making these. Once it gets a certain feel, take a rolling pin. Now, I know that some people like to roll out the whole entire dough, but I like to do it pierogi by pierogi so that I'm more present. And it has a nice thin consistency, but when I pull at it, if it breaks apart, it's too thin, I just flip it over. Let me get my tools of the trade. Got my magic pierogi tools. And again, here we go, something that's repurposed for what it's usually used for. So, once again, it's autopilot. Size up the piece. Little meatball size. You take the dough, you flip it over, you take the magic cutting tool, you cut the pierogi into a semicircle, and then you squeeze it, and the dough is still a little bit tacky, and then you take the sealer and you add the little footprints. I always imagine that I have little baby chicks, and all they do is come and stomp their little feet on here. And that is, my friends, the perfect meat pierogi, or actually what they're called are kudunis. Because I roll my dough out little by little, and I end up, as I'm taking the meat and rolling it in the dough, some of the meat gets left behind. So some of the later pierogis have the meat infused into the dough, which actually gives it more and more flavor. So after the pierogis are, all the ingredients are mixed and the pierogis are shaped, they are then put into boiling water so that they can cook both on the outside and the inside. How do I know the pierogis are cooked and they're ready to come out of the water? They float to the top. After the pierogis are removed from the water, we fry them up in butter, and it truly is a family affair. My sous chef helping me tender love and care with those pierogis. Yeah. Sometimes your techniques for manifestation, or even your human effort, going through all of the motions, do not give you the results. They don't look pretty, just like these poor little guys here, these wonderful pierogis. They just didn't make the cut to go to the party tonight. We're going to have to turn them over to quality control. But I'm going to show you something pretty amazing once I do turn them over to quality control, because it doesn't matter what it looks like. I know the love and effort that was put into this creation. And even though it's not as pretty as the ones that made the cut, I'm going to command my reality that they taste freaking amazing. I feel like life is like making pierogies. You got to be all in. You got to be willing to get so messy, because the end result is so amazing. Look at these gorgeous pierogies, but it's not what I envisioned yet for the wish fulfilled. Can you taste them through the screen? All right, guys, it's time to turn over these pierogies to quality control. Here he is.
How you guys doing?
Take a bite. How they taste.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Well, there you have it. Just pure perfection of taking something that was in the inactive invisible, activating it within the mental plane, and then allowing the body to be animated with the breath of the version of me that knew exactly what to do, exactly when to do it, how to do it, to get that beautiful outcome. And when you use this pierogi analogy, that whether you're making yourself a sandwich, you're driving your car, you're at the gym and you're lifting weights, you're creating a video, you're just spending time sitting on a couch watching a movie with your favorite person in the world, that's all manifestation. You are manifesting 24/7. But I think what is really interesting is that we've made it so normalized, we call it everyday life, that we forget that we're manifesting. And that's the whole beautiful thing about this. You forget that you're manifesting because it's so normalized. And that's what is meant by making it normal. And that's why you don't have to worry if you have never done it before or you haven't done it in a really long time. If you put that version of you aside and you allow the master of whatever that thing is to come in that moment, it will never, ever, ever disappoint. So remember, you're always manifesting. Even if it seems so mundane and normal, like folding your laundry or emptying the dishwasher, that's manifestation. You, as the conscious awareness, are aware of the character. And if we go into the Creator Trinity video, you'll see that simultaneously you are the creator, you are the character, and you are the hybrid there waiting for that question should it arrive. So you're always manifesting. Not only are you the one in first person perspective of the character actually doing the thing, but you're also the creator. That is the one who is aware that the character is moving through time and space. Right now, I'm recording this video, and I, as the character Dee Dee, is saying the words, wordies, making noise, making sounds, seeming that it's an important topic. But the creator version of me is the one who is aware that the words are being said. And when you get those two perspectives, and then you can learn how to start manifesting from both perspectives simultaneously, that's when you cut down time and space. And those time videos are coming. So hang tight. Share all these wonderful videos. Share the channel. Know that we're having a group training program starting in May. So if you'd like to get information, get on the wait list for that. Sign up for that. If you want to work with me one-on-one, you know what to do. Until I see you again, happy manifesting and enjoy. And hopefully now you have a taste for some pierogies, because, oh my gosh, they're so good. See what you did? Now I gotta go make some pierogies.